Hey everybody, thanks for hopping on the podcast. But before we get going, let me tell you guys about an event coming up this June. It is the Friends of Steve McQueen Car and Motorcycle Show, June the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Get ready, motorsports enthusiasts. Registration is now open for the 2022 Friends of Steve McQueen Car and Motorcycle Show. The 15th annual event will return to the Boys Republic in Chino Hills, California on the first weekend in June to benefit the private nonprofit school and treatment center for troubled teenagers. This year's theme, On Any Sunday, marks the 50th anniversary of the cult classic motorcycle documentary. It was produced by Steve McQueen and features the actor, other well-known racers, and regular adventure-seeking folks joining in the early 1970s explosion of various types of off-road motorcycle racing. In that spirit, the Friends of Steve McQueen Car and Motorcycle Show offers something for everyone and is a car show like no other. The popularity of the Friends of Steve McQueen Car Show was evident by last year's success, with approximately 450 cars and motorcycles exhibited to more than 10,000 attendees. Most importantly, the 2021 show grossed $811,000 for the Boys Republic's apprenticeship program, which provides disadvantaged program graduates with paid jobs and training experience. To receive updates for the 2022 show and to register online for June 3rd through the 5th events, all held at the Boys Republic's 200-acre campus in Chino Hills, please visit SteveMcQueenCarshow.com. Let's all do our part to help the school, and we'll see you there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ed's Auto Garage. Again, it's Ed Arango coming to you from my garage here in Huntington Beach, California. Oh, geez, let me get my microphone a little closer, which is something I need to do. I forgot about this guy. So, yeah, again, everybody, welcome to the show. And if I seem a little out of it or whatever today, it's kind of a weird day for me because yesterday, about 24 hours ago, I got my booster shot. And so I'm a little kind of loopy. So you probably won't notice much difference because I'm always kind of a little loopy anyway. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know. So, and yeah, we have a cool show today. We've got a Porsche instructor on today. Her name is Tiffani Marie Lewis. But before we start talking to Tiffani, just kind of want to remind everybody again about June the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We've got that weekend. We've got the Steve McQueen Car Show coming up. If you guys want to bring your cars down, it doesn't have to be Mustangs. It doesn't have to be Porsches. It could be any kind of car. They want a variety of different cars. So by all means, go on to the Steve McQueen Car Show website and register your vehicle, bring it down. If you want to sponsor, you want to be a vendor, all that's found on their Steve McQueen website. And I'll give you guys a little bit more info in my show notes after that. And then also another shout out to this good organization right here called the Piston Foundation. Now, the Piston Foundation is an organization that helps apprentices and folks that want to get into the collector car business. They want to become mechanics for classic and collector cars. You know, that's kind of, you know, not to be a Debbie Downer here, but that's kind of a little bit of a dying breed of mechanics out there. So they're trying to cultivate as many new people to learn how to work on, a 1962 Mercedes Benz or old Austin Healey's or old Ferraris or any of the older classic cars. I mean, we need to keep that heritage alive. So please look into the pistonfoundation.org. They have apprenticeships, they do scholarships. So it's a very worthy cause. So anyway, let me bring on Tiffani Marie Lewis onto the show. Tiffani, welcome on, and how are you?
Hi, Ed. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to see you. It's been a few months.
Yep, it has. Yeah, we met at the Steve McQueen show, and I had kind of followed you a little bit in the driving side on your Facebook account. And ironically, I just kind of saw you and I go, that's the gal from the Porsche driving that I see. So yeah, I'm glad that we kind of touched bases back then.
No, it was awesome. And I felt flattered you recognized me, and glad that you stopped me because I'd heard of your podcast. And thank you so much again for having me today.
And I think that when we saw you, or when I saw you, we talked about getting you on the podcast, but we had a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a hiccup. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but you were like out to here. You were like, I think it was like, you told me, I think you had like 1 week to go.
3 days.
It was 3 days until you were due date. So you were getting your walking in, your steps, and
yeah, and judging, and Alden and I were judges. We had a great day, and it was my last car event with just us. So now I have he's 5 months. In 2 days he'll be 5 months.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah,
time flies. So why don't you Tiffani, why don't you bring us up a little bit up to speed a little bit on this whole car phenomenon that you've kind of embraced. How did all this come to be for you? Why don't you let us know a little bit about that?
Hey everyone, Ed Arango here from Ed's Auto Garage, wanting to give a shout out to our show sponsor, Arango Insurance Services. Arango Insurance Services is a full service insurance agency. We do home, auto, commercial, and any specialty. We specialize in the automotive space. So if you are a restoration shop, an OEM shop, a componentry manufacturer, we're able to insure you. It's a great time right now to have your policy reviewed, see if we can save you money, make sure you are properly insured, and at least evaluate your policy. See if you're in the right spot. So give us a shout out at Arango Insurance Services. You can reach us at our website, www.arangoins.com, or give us a call at 949-887-1274. Enjoy the podcast. We'll talk to you later.
Why don't you let us know a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me tell you what I currently do in the car world. So okay. I am certified as a Porsche driving instructor for autocross and road course through Porsche Club of America. And it has been a wonderful ride. I am able to go to tracks and autocrosses and instruct. I've been invited to be a judge at various car shows, Steve McQueen show, San Clemente show. And I just love teaching. So that's kind of what I do. It is an enthusiast position. So not, I'm not a professional driver, but it has allowed me to be in those settings and possibly even an instructor at the Porsche Experience Center in Los Angeles. I got a job as an instructor there right before COVID hit. Oh. And so I was about to start training, and that was February of 2020. And as we know, early March, COVID hit, and that was done. So bringing me up to speed, that's a little bit of my background in the automotive world. And how I got there was in 2009, I bought a Boxster just for fun and didn't do anything with it, not for years. So I didn't go on.
It was your daily driver?
It pretty much was my daily driver. I had one other car, but it wasn't until January of 2014. So 8 years ago that I joined Porsche Club of America. I just decided I'm going to do this. I want to meet people. I want to get into community. And I went to the Orange County Porsche Club of America OCR region, and I was embraced. I met the president, Greg Lush. I met James Buck, and just multiple people who said, "Tiff, like, welcome, and you're young and you're fun. Let's get you out in your car." And so they invited me to a car control clinic that next month. I went to the autocross the next day, and pretty much fell in love. That's how I ended up becoming an instructor and getting into this racing world.
So wow, so you it was just basically that you were trying to get involved with the club local here in Orange County, kind of as more of a social thing. And then it kind of evolved into this whole thing about driving. You must have felt a little bit of the passion of driving the car. When did that kind of start happening? Because I mean, it's one thing to kind of go and kind of hang out at some of these clubs or these groups. And, you know, a lot of times in some of these groups, it's like, oh, we meet at, you know, at Susie Q's house on Saturday for potluck, but there isn't a whole lot of car. It becomes more social, not as much of a car event. And I'm assuming the Porsche group is more revolving around the car itself.
Yeah, and they drive. That's one of the things I found over these last 8 years that I've been involved in the car community is Porsche people in general drive their cars and they love it. And so I definitely identify with that. I've been able to drive all the way up to Monterey for Rennsport, Porsche Rennsport. I've gone twice now, once in my girlfriend's GT3. That was a blast. Oh yeah, and then once in the Porsche Boxster, mine. So definitely that's a draw. I do love driving. I always have loved driving, but I didn't know that this was in store. It definitely, the racing component was very organic. And I thank my friends through the Orange County region, and now I belong to LA and GPX and just have friends everywhere. So I'm very, very grateful that they took me under their wing. And in fact, I don't think I've told this on the other shows I've done. I was mortified because Greg, the president at the time of one of the largest chapters, James, who was I think he was a leadership for autocross, and Chuck, they come out to my car. I'm the newbie member. They have a tradition of taking a picture of new members in front of their car. And they take this picture and they go, "Okay, we got a little problem here. Your tires are showing core."
Ooh.
Yeah. And I just said, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." I mean, I look back now and I've learned so much since then. And absolutely, I needed brakes, I needed new tires, I needed probably an oil change, and they just adopted me. And I'm really grateful, because without that, I don't know if I would be where I'm at today.
So tell me a little bit about, I mean, because the Boxster is a car that so many people can kind of get into and enjoy. Have you done much modifications to the car, or is the car still pretty much stock? Are your plans to keep it to have it be more? Well, it sounds like you're probably going to be having the car be more autocrossy type.
Autocross, yeah, I would like to get more into road course. That's my eventual goal, wheel to wheel racing. And so I have to turn the Boxster more into spec Boxster. That's a few years away, especially now that I have a newborn.
Yeah.
But I have changed a little bit of the suspension. I have new wheels, so all four of the same wheels, racing wheels, so it makes it a little more balanced. I've changed the camber. I have added a little bit of horsepower, few little other things here and there. Shocks, I have a Bilstein. Went with the Bilstein suspension and shocks. So yeah, it has definitely matured and evolved into a car more equipped for cornering and racing.
So you are an instructor, but you had to, at one time, I'm assuming someone had to instruct you and teach you how to better drive and that whole process to get you to that point to be an instructor. And I had heard, and I think in another recording, I had heard that you were like the national instructor for the Orange County area or something like that.
So I have that certification through Porsche Club of America. And what I was for Orange County Region, I won Instructor of the Year.
Got it.
So having won that, I was told I was the first female to win that award. I don't generally like to pull a gender card, but what it did was it gave me some notoriety. It really propelled me into opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. So winning that Instructor of the Year award was key, because it's also what allowed Scott Mann, who's one of the head driving instructors for Porsche Club of America, when he heard that, he said, well, Tiff, we gotta make you an instructor for everyone. And so I give him a lot of credit, because even at that time, I didn't have that much experience with road course. And he just said, well, but you're a phenomenal instructor, so I could teach you this part. Let's just get you through the course. And it was great. And I've been able to go to Spring Mountain in Vegas with his club and instruct there, Button Willow, Willow Springs. Yeah, that's it. Laguna Seca, out at Thermal. I mean, it has just opened. Chuckwalla is a favorite. So yes, I had phenomenal instructors who guided me from knowing nothing to saying, hey, we see that you're a good teacher, getting the Instructor of the Year, and then now hopefully working at Porsche Club or Porsche Experience Center in LA, and like learning even more depth about what I could do with the car and how you can give that information to people who want to learn.
So do you, I mean, prior to doing any of this, I mean, you were just like, like me, like any other Joe Blow, kind of driving your car like normal. Do you see the difference? Can you really feel the difference and see the difference in the way you drove then compared to how you drive today, even in normal driving? Is there much difference?
Sure, absolutely. It's funny because when people drive with me now as a passenger, I always ask them, do you get car sick? I do. Even I was at the Porsche Experience Center on Sunday, and I took a guest with me, and I asked her, "Do you get car sick?" Because we had a full open freeway, and I realized that I have to ask that, not because I'm a crazy driver, but because I'm a defensive driver, and I know how much more confident I am as a driver, and I take it for granted sometimes that passengers still get nervous going fast in a vehicle. So if that answers the question.
Yeah. So how about now? Are you, when you drive, like if you're driving on the freeway or whatever, are you more alert to how crappy other drivers are out there?
Yeah, I a million times.
Okay.
For me, I don't get frustrated though. I just know how to anticipate.
Yeah.
So that's what I teach my son and teach whoever's in the car who wants to learn. I try to point out the things ahead of time. That, hey, when you start driving, this is what you need to look out for. My number one pet peeve, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, is that drivers forgot that they have turn signals.
Oh, yeah.
Especially,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I live in Irvine, and I don't know what it is, but it's really bad here. People don't use their turn signals at all, so it makes it really hard to follow the rules, follow the cars, anticipate other drivers' actions. But yes, so as a driver and having gone through all the training through autocross, through road course, I'm a much better defensive and offensive driver, and that's what I love teaching my students, right down to how to use your brakes. I think most regular drivers have never experienced the of
Oh,
using
the ABS.
implementing your ABS, your anti-lock brake system,
Right.
right? And I think that if more people had access to that kind of training, we would have far fewer accidents on the road.
Yeah, you're probably right. Now, I know you have two kids, and one is a teeny weeny guy, but then you've got your older son, Alden. How old is Alden now?
He'll be 11 in May.
Okay, so is he kind of sniffing around the car a little bit and kind of looking at it and checking it out, and is he kind of getting a little bit of the bug as of yet?
Oh, yes. And in fact, maybe that's something you or your listeners would be able to help me with. He has been asking and begging to start karting. So
Oh,
go-karting.
yeah.
And having a newborn, I haven't been able to quite find my way to get him into that program, especially I think it would be out in Fontana. So if anybody has information for me or has a cart that they'd be willing to co-drive, my son is a good driver and he's ready. And he prides himself on being the best autocross assistant ever.
That's good. Yeah, there
Yeah.
is. I mean, I know that there's a number of groups, and out in Fontana, there's a big group out there for karting. So yeah, that's a great, that's a great stepping stone for these guys. That's good. That's really good. And your little one, is he there? Can we
Sure.
participate with the little one a little bit?
Yeah, sure. There he is.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, hello. He's got his car on. Let me see. What is that? Is that a Mustang? Hi.
It looks like a Nova.
Ooh. Say hello, Mr. Ed. Say hi. Say, my name is Jaden Maximus.
Jaden Maximus?
Uh-huh, Jaden
Oh,
Maximus.
wow. Very cool. So yeah, this is Jaden. This is our second time meeting. The first time you were still percolating a little bit, but this is our second time meeting.
Dude, the first time you met him, he was about to press launch control.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he definitely was. Boy, he's really chunked up. Boy, that's good. Boy, he's a healthy kid.
He is. What do you think? Are you happy to be here? We're happy to see you.
So how's it going with you? With now, I mean, you're kind of like all over the place right now. You've got a lot on your plate, Tiffani, because you've got the kids, you've got work, you've got the driving and the other driving events, and then also tell us a little bit about some of the nonprofits and charities that you're involved with.
Yeah, so it is a busy time, and some days I think, wow, this is quite a turn of events in my life, but I'm grateful. And so a couple of the organizations that I work with. Well, one I want to mention, just being a female, I've been able to meet a lot of women who want to know how to get into our clubs or how, and I want to just give a shout out to two organizations. One is called Porsche Women Global, and it is a great organization for female Porsche owners. It was started here in LA. I'm one of the original members by my good friend Sarah of LA Dismantler. Hi, Sarah, if you're watching. And it has gone international. So any females that own a Porsche Women Global, you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and I highly encourage you to join because you will be connected with a group of lovely women that who are professionals and just want to enjoy their cars with others. So that's the first one. The other one is Accelerating Change. This is a great program started by my friends Christina Nielsen, who's a professional race car driver. Hopefully we'll get to see her for the Grand Prix. And Mariana Small, who's the former Porsche Club of America of Los Angeles president. and
wow.
she just handed that off. But it is an organization for women who want to experience a track day. It's only women, and that's the caveat. And I've been able to instruct for them and go to events. They had one this past Sunday at the Porsche Experience Center. It was for International Women's Day. We were invited to come. I got to bring my car and navigate their courses and their obstacles. That was really fun. So those two organizations, Accelerating Change and Porsche Women Global, would be specifically for people who are driving enthusiasts. Now, you asked about organizations I volunteer for that are near and dear to my heart. There's two. The first one is called Racers Who Care. And what they do is they raise funds to be able to bring children of lower income areas and schools on field trips to places like the Long Beach Grand Prix, for example. And these kids get to come and they get to hear speakers. I get to speak. I've been able to speak to them just about making goals and what you can accomplish in life and not allowing your circumstances to hinder you. And then we give them tours of the paddocks. They get to watch the race. It's a wonderful program. Like, I wish I had it when I was little. I never knew about the racing world.
It exposes them to something that they really would not have an opportunity to be exposed to.
Yeah, so it's a great one, and we'll be there this coming April for the Grand Prix, and you're going to be there too. They want to meet you. And then the other one that I work with, and I'm on the Leadership Council as a board member, is the Emilio Nares Foundation, ENF for short. Now, this foundation, my heart just overflows when I think about it, because what they do is they offer free transportation for children with cancer who can't afford either a vehicle or transportation to and from their doctor's appointments. So through this organization, they have eliminated the need for transportation in San Diego, I think Orange County, and now they've expanded into Los Angeles. So any child, and if any of you know of a family that would need help, please contact me, because that's what they do. And I've been able through this organization to raise money for fun charity events, golfing events. I've been Santa's helper at Chalk Hospital, and there's nothing better than being able to see children light up, and especially when they're sick and families are struggling. So those organizations, I absolutely would encourage everybody to see if you have any extra funds to donate, or just to be part of our community. We would appreciate that.
Wow, what an honorable, foundation that is, to help these families that just may not have a car, may not have a way to get someone to their doctor's appointment. I can see how you can get enthralled with that group. That's wonderful. Now, your regular job, your day job, because other than being mom and driver and involved with all the organizations, I mean, you still have a regular job, right?
Yeah, so it has been a little bit less since I had baby, and also through COVID. My business, I have a tutoring business that I've had for a long time, 12 years. I'm just gonna pass him off real quick.
Okay. Bye.
I love you. Bye. Say bye. I love you. There you go. Yeah, so I have had a tutoring business for 12, 13 years or so, and working primarily with the Korean community here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the reason that is I was a director of international Christian school in Seoul, Korea for a few years.
What?
Yeah, nobody knows. I don't get a chance to talk about these things.
Well, you were in Seoul, Korea for a period. You lived in Seoul. Are you Korean? No, you're not Korean.
I'm not Korean, but I love kimchi.
Okay.
So I might have some Asian blood in me. But I lived there, we're talking, 4 14, 15 years ago. So post college, was a teacher and did some missionary work as well. But I loved it, and I got really interested in the Korean community. And when I moved back to the States, I had multiple friends asking me, Tiff, why don't you have a tutoring business? Like, families need your help to assimilate. So that's how it started. I started with Korean families here that were foreign. They needed help with not only English, but navigating the differences in America and Korea, different philosophy, different value system.
Sure.
And so that was what I love. And obviously I really love helping people, and it just aligned. So that's how I started a tutoring business. And I had been doing that all these years and being a full-time mom as well, until COVID hit. And immediately, because of the pandemic, half of my clientele postponed
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, because we were told 3 weeks, right, to flatten the curve. And here we are 2 years later. So that's what I do. That's my career. And now I'm in the process of considering going back to school to get my PhD, maybe step it up a bit, either eventually open my own school, or my dream has always been to be a professor on a university level. So
Wow. Wow, boy. Big goals. That's good. That's great. Boy, I can tell you are a go-getter. And I mean, just to excel so much in the driving world, from which sounds like to be a relatively a short period of time, from what, 2000, you said 2014 to where you are today? Is that the first day you went to a meeting was in 14?
Yeah, it was, I want to say January 4th, 2014, something like that. And I do appreciate that. I was a much more ambitious person when I was younger. I will say that now that I'm a mom, my priorities and values have changed a bit. But I always give credit to the car community, because they really did adopt me. I have no other way of saying it. And just the right timing, the right people. And because I love teaching, that showed through. And that's what has given me so many wonderful opportunities to meet people, including, I mean, you might have seen the show with Magnus Walker. He had a show called The Next Big Thing. And I'm 5 months pregnant, and he called me when I was on a trip to Hawaii, and he messaged me and said, hey, would you like to be a guest on my show? You have your I own a Boxster. That's what he was looking for. And did his show, and that has been wonderful too. It's just another example of my car community reaching out.
So he reached out to you for that segment, because he must have reached out to the Porsche Club of America, and they must have turned him on to you. Is that how it ended up working?
So how it worked was, that morning in late April, I started getting all these messages from all my friends in Porsche on social media tagging me. And they were tagging me in Magnus's post on his personal Instagram account. He posted an ad saying he's looking for a Boxster owned female, preferably first generation. And so everybody started putting my name and tagging me in his post.
Oh, wow. So you fit the bill big time.
Perfect. And then I want to say my good friend Sarah is friends with Magnus, and she saw it. And so she probably, gave a little shout out, and that's how it happened. And then he reached out, we had a conversation. And while I was on vacation, he said, I'd love to have you. And that's how it happened. And then we were filming in May, and I was 5 months pregnant.
How was that experience? How was that experience where'd you guys meet? Did you guys meet up? Because I think it's up on Angeles Crest where you guys were driving.
Yeah. We met up, and we had a full day of filming, but it was great. And I think for me, the best part was just getting to know Magnus. He's such a huge Porsche file, and his presence is huge in our community. And I had met him once before, but never really talked to him. It was great just to get to know him and his heart and a little bit about his life. And the show has done pretty well. It's exciting to see. And except for my son, he couldn't care less.
Why?
Because he's so spoiled. Like he's spoiled. He gets to sit in $1 million cars. He gets to be around all these people that, except for their car, you would never know that they are how successful they are. And
Sure.
so it's second nature to him to see me around car enthusiasts, around car events. And I remember when it aired in August. And I said, hey, Alden, do you want to watch the show? Do you want to watch, like, Mama's show came out? And he goes, how long is it? And I said, okay, there's nothing that will humble you more than your children, right?
Yeah.
And I just said, oh, it's 11 minutes. And he goes, no, it's okay. Can I go for a walk?
Oh my goodness.
Now that little snippet sounds like maybe he doesn't care. No, he really is.
Of
He's my
course he does.
sidekick.
Yeah.
And
of course
that's
he
sort
does.
of the reason that he wasn't super excited, because he goes to all of these so much, and he's embraced by the community as well. In fact, he made a cameo appearance in Magnus's show. They flashed a photograph of my son hugging a Porsche
Oh,
at
really?
one of our events. So anyway, it was a great experience, and I'm really thankful to Magnus for having me. And so they just keep coming, these wonderful
Yeah.
opportunities. But I feel very blessed.
So I mean, it is. I mean, you hit a point there. It is kind of my experience with car folks, and I'm sure you have as well. It doesn't matter who you are, the common thread is the love and the passion of being a car enthusiast. The common thread is that. So I could go to a car show and I can be, or a car club, and be buddies and and shoot the what with whoever. But in my regular world, that guy may be like the president of some big old company that I would never ever be exposed to, but the common thread is the love of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you see that as well?
Oh yeah, and that was one of the reasons. I think I mentioned this to Magnus, that I was nervous for joining the club, because I'm not somebody of generational wealth, or in my life I haven't, I don't have the big house and all the fancy garage and cars, right?
Right.
So I was apprehensive to join the Porsche club, thinking, I'm young, I only have a Boxster, like I don't have a 911. And to your point, once I joined, like, didn't matter.
Nobody poo-pooed you, is what it is.
No.
Nobody poo-pooed you.
In fact, I would say at that time it was beautiful, because they were looking for more young people. How can we attract younger people to our community, which is and has been historically, more mature retirement age, or professionals with means. And so it's been great to see how the younger generation has been encouraged to join, and also, as with Racers Who Care, being able to use this Porsche community to inspire the kids. Wow, I could do that one day. Like, it's like Tiffani could do it, and she was raised in a more of a challenging upbringing, not wealthy. So that's something that I always am grateful for, but want to be able to give back, that encouragement. And I can't say enough about the Porsche people. They're just wonderful.
So what's next for you? What's next for Tiffani in the car scene, car community right now? What's the next event?
Okay, I would say it's International Women's Day coming up.
Okay,
So
good.
March is Women's History Month and all kinds of things. And I was just at Porsche Experience Center on Sunday, and I know they'll be releasing footage. It was a great event. And to my I felt wonderful to be approached by Johnny, who's the head coach there. And he said, "Hey, Tiff, I would love to revisit getting you back out here as one of our coaches." So I'll give Jaden a few more months to have me at home. And I think that would be something I would love to do. Really learn how to take my driving skills to the next level, give back in that capacity. And then I will be at the Long Beach Grand Prix. So that's the next thing. I will be speaking for racers who care, and hopefully taking all the kids and showing them the possibility and introducing them to professional racers. And beyond that, I'm not sure.
Hey, so Tiffani, if you want to move to that next level of kind of like wheel-to-wheel racing, course racing, I mean, do you have to get like SCCA licensed yourself or anything? Does that fall into the picture anywhere?
For me,
yeah,
I hope so. That requires a lot more time investment, financial investment. I have to change my car quite a bit. And also you do have to be certified. So I think the next level would be time trial racing for me. And then after that, wheel to wheel. And that would be the goal.
Okay, good. Do they still do, just curious, are they still doing any autocross over here at El Toro, or is that gone already?
It's gone as far as I know, but we are doing autocross, I believe still in San Pedro, and also at in the parking lot of the Angel Stadium.
Got it. Okay.
And there's one coming up. Okay, you people out there who are listening, let me just plug this right now. Please, if you've never done an autocross event, or you aren't even sure, but you like driving, or you have a really nice car, it doesn't even have to be a Porsche. It could be a Miata. It could be any car like that, but I recommend Porsches. Go to motorsportreg.com. You can find autocross events. I think there's one coming up this month with Porsche Club of America, Los Angeles region. And it's $100, I think, for the day. You get an instructor, so I could instruct you. You can bring your car. It's not that much wear and tear, and it is so much fun. Like, you will have a blast. Bring your husbands, bring your wives. You can be 16. That's the youngest age. Great for teenagers. Great for them. They will learn defensive driving. They will benefit greatly by this event. So anyway, I always say, just come give it a try. If it's not for you, great, but usually you'll get hooked.
Well, yeah, and that's great because it is true. I mean, I think there are a lot of people out there that just don't know how or where to go, or what to do to get involved. So that's great. So you said it was, the website was
motorsportreg.com.
Motorsports Reg. Okay.
And it's
okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, I think we're at the end here. Thank you, Tiffani, so much for jumping on with me. I appreciate it. Again, everybody, please look at the these nonprofits and these charities that Tiffani mentioned here. The Acceleration Change for Women, the Porsche Women Global Club, if you want to get involved with, as a woman in a club, Racers Who Cares, to help these underprivileged kids be exposed to something that you and I and so many of us kind of take for granted. And the ENF, the Emilio Nares Foundation, and again, that's that foundation that Stephanie mentioned that helps families that don't have a way to get their children or make it to their appointments because they don't have transportation. So Tiffani, thank you so much for hopping on. Appreciate it so much. Okay, we'll talk to you again. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at Steve McQueen.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, see you later.
Bye, Ed.
Bye.